Greetings. Thank you for tuning in to the 2021 General Election Candidate Forum for the Lacey City Council positions number 4 and number 7. This forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County and along with TC Community Media, Thurston Community Media, and our co-sponsors, Asian Pacific Islanders Coalition, South Puget Sound Chapter, and Thurston Climate Action Team. The forum is being held electronically due to COVID-19. Candidates, moderators, and timers are all joining in using Zoom links with the help of TC Media. A little bit about the League. The League of Women Voters is proud to be nonpartisan, neither supporting nor opposing candidates or political parties at any level of government, but always working on vital issues of concern to members and the public. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the legislature and other governmental bodies. Despite its name, the League is open to everyone over age 16. I'm Mcshary Silverman from the League, and I will be moderating this forum. Shelley Knipe will be the timer for this forum. This forum will include candidates for the Lacey City Council. We had hoped to have candidates from both the contested races, positions 4 and 7, but one of the candidates for position 4 could not join us. We allowed both candidates for position 4 to submit a statement, which I will read. And the first statement is from Emma Mcshary for position 4. My name is Emma Mcshary. I have been a resident of Lacey for the majority of my life. Watching the growth I've seen over the last 30 years has been incredible. I own a salon in Hawkes Prairie, and I'm proud to say that my company has been a part of this growth. Our city is now the best for commerce in Thurston County, as Lacey is a very desirable location to make the large venture of starting a small business. Being a Thurston County resident my entire life, I have also watched the struggles our community is facing. Myself, along with my peers who own small businesses, are facing the daily challenges that come with waning public safety and a rising mental health crisis, drug paraphernalia in our parking lots, vandalism in our buildings, worrying about our team members when they walk to their vehicles at the end of a shift. Small businesses are not a hobby. We create local jobs and support local families. These things are important. My job above everything else is to listen to and to meet the needs of my staff and guests. It only makes sense that I now extend this to our community at large. My intent when becoming a part of the Lacey City Council will be maintaining a city that is desirable for not only small businesses, but our citizens in general. In order to do this, it will take supporting our law enforcement so our community members feel safe. It will take working as a team to find real solutions for the mental health and homelessness crisis that we would be irresponsible to ignore. It will take reasonable considerations when deciding how we tax our small businesses so we remain a desirable place to open and operate a business. These issues are important pillars for a healthy community where citizens and businesses alike can feel safe and continue to thrive. Thank you again for your time. The next statement is going to be from Robin Vazquez, who is also running for position 4 on the Lacey City Council. Hello, Lacey. I regret I can't be there to greet you in person, but I'm Robin Vazquez, and I'm running for Lacey City Council. As a mother of 2, a state worker, and a member of the Lacey Planning Commission, I am ready and well-equipped to serve our community. In my day job, I have experience creating policies that help veterans, underrepresented groups, and thousands of everyday workers. When considering your next city council person, please remember that Lacey is the largest and fastest growing city in Thurston County. Effectively navigating the growth will demand strategic planning and partnerships with other local leaders. I bring these skills to the table. I support building more housing, especially affordable housing. Rent and property taxes are going up because of scarcity. We need more places for people to live. I support increasing transportation choices like biking and buses and enhancing our community emergency preparedness. I plan to develop a city language access plan, take an active role in regional climate mitigation, and adopt an evidence-based approach to reducing homelessness. We need to do more to address this issue. Establishing long-term supportive housing is critical and will reduce inefficient or ineffective use of public funds. There are many challenges ahead, but I'm committed to working hard to meet those challenges head on. Join me in building a Lacey that works for everyone. You can learn more about me and my priorities for the Lacey City Council at voterobinvforlacey.com. Thank you for your time. All right. Now let us go to our position 7 candidates. And we have with us today the candidates of Carolyn Cox and Felix Figueroa. What I'm going to do here is we were going to have the candidates will be able to alternate questions. So I'm going to ask one candidate a question first. That'll be done alphabetically. And then the next candidate will get to answer. If at any time you need for me to repeat a question, I will be happy to repeat it for you. At the end of the candidate forums, each candidate will have a time to ask each other a question. You have about 30 seconds to ask a question to your opponent, and your opponent will have a minute to answer. There's also a timer. There's an electronic timer on the screen. You have 1 minute to answer each question. When the electronic timer turns yellow, you have 15 seconds left. When the timer is up, it will show a red stop sign. If at any time, candidates, you cannot see the timer, please let me know. I will tell you, or I will inform you when your time is up. And again, if at any time you need me to repeat a question, please don't hesitate to let me know. All right. So the first question alphabetically goes to Ms. Cox and then Mr. Figueroa. All right. The state passed legislation in 2020 allowing counties to increase the sales tax by 1/10 of 1 cent to provide ongoing local revenue for affordable housing. Would you encourage the Board of County Commissioners to approve the source of revenue? What other strategies would you promote to address issues of homelessness? Carolyn. Carolyn, you're muted.
Thank you. Yes, I would definitely do that and actually have done that to encourage that. Not that I'm a big tax fan, but people, we are in the middle of a huge crisis. From the time I ran 4 years ago for city council to the present, homelessness has mushroomed in Lacey. And this tax, which would only cost the individual about $16 a year, unless you buy a big honking RV or something, will go so far. One of the things it would do is provide mental health services, which are desperately needed in working with homelessness. There are many other things. I realize time is short here, but permanent supportive housing is the other, and this will also help with that. So in a nutshell, very definitely, I think this is needed, and I think we need to chase down every dollar that we can to address this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Figueroa, Reyes, Felix, your answer to the same question. Do you need me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
All right. The state passed legislation in 2020 allowing counties to increase the sales tax by 1/10 of 1 cent to provide ongoing local revenue for affordable housing. Would you encourage the Board of County Commissioners to approve this source of revenue? What other strategies would you promote to address issues of homelessness?
So in short, no, I don't support additional taxes. There's plenty of money that the city generates. We've had record revenue years for the past 8 years. 2020 was another record revenue year. 2021 was another record revenue year. So I don't think that we need any additional taxes. If we need any additional monies, I think we should increase our tax base, not our tax rate. I go out every month with city campers to serve the homeless and meet them where they're at. And I ask them their names, I ask them where they're from, and if they need any help. And then we try our best to connect them with local nonprofits. We have about 42 of them in the county that deal with homelessness directly. And so I think that in order to continue to support the homeless and provide some housing solutions, we should increase our tax base, not our tax rate.
Thank you so much for your answer. All right, and you get to go next for the next question, and Ms. Cox, you will follow again. All right, recent legislation regarding law enforcement use of force has been somewhat controversial. Since the City Council sets policy for city departments, what's your position regarding these new laws? Felix.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar. I've had an opportunity to talk with the chief of police and a lot of police officers about this, and some firefighters actually. It's really challenging because there's a lot of the way the legislation is interpreted. There's a lot of challenges now as far as what law enforcement can and cannot do. And because of this, a lot of basic safety services are being stopped or prevented or being shifted to now firefighters. And now firefighters are being overworked and taking on additional roles that law enforcement would. So there definitely has to be some changes in that legislation. My understanding is that there will be some changes coming in the next session.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Ms. Cox, you'll be the first one to answer this question again. And same question, recent legislation regarding law enforcement use of force has been somewhat controversial. Since the City Council sets policy for city departments, what is your position regarding these new laws?
I think the legislature is trying to listen now to law enforcement about perhaps having gone a step too far in the laws that it passed. I believe police accountability has to happen. In Lacey, we're very lucky to have an accredited police department that already had very high standards regarding use of force. In talking with Senator Hunt, with Chief Almada and others, specifically, we need to tweak the law to address the gauge of a gun that can be used so that we can employ non-lethal methods such as shooting a beanbag instead of a bullet to restrain people. I think part of the pushback you're hearing from police is that the law as written takes away some of those tools.
Thank you. And Carolyn Cox, you're up next for this question. The COVID-19 pandemic is continuing to cause a severe health crisis throughout the country and in Thurston County. What is your position regarding Governor Inslee's vaccination mandate for state employees and mask mandates? Do you think city employees should be required to be vaccinated?
Well, first, I wish it wasn't necessary for Governor Inslee to require a mandate. I wish that people would step up and do the right thing and get vaccinated. I think I've been asked recently to define freedom in one word, and that word that comes to mind is responsibility. We are responsible to each other. So I reluctantly support the governor's vaccination mandate. I want to carefully watch what happens in Lacey. I think we're approaching a goodly number of staff members who have been vaccinated, and we have instituted rules that require those who are not vaccinated to work from home if they can, to certainly wear masks, and to social distance from each other. We've had over 15 employees at City Hall come down with COVID. So I will back the city manager on any step he feels necessary to contain this.
Thank you very much. Felix Figueroa, your answer to that question, please.
When I hear the word freedom, for me, it's freedom, option, and choice. I believe that the mandates aren't necessary. I believe people should have the option to choose if they want the vaccine or not. I think there's plenty of other options and therapeutics that are available in order to treat COVID. And so if somebody wants to get the shot, the vaccine, then go right ahead. That's your choice. But I think it should be a choice and not a mandate.
Thank you. All right, the next question is for you as well, Felix Figueroa. Lacey has been a participant in the Lacey has been a participant in the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan and has approved a resolution adopting common targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Do you support these actions, and are they enough?
I think we all need to be a good steward of the environment. I think it's important to take a look at what options we have in order to ensure that we minimize our carbon footprint and that we're doing our parts as individuals, whether that's changing our light bulbs to LED or getting energy efficient windows and appliances. I think it's important that we do our part in order to be good stewards of our environment.
All right. And Carolyn Cox, your answer to that question.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be part of the Thurston Climate Mitigation Steering Committee and helped write the plan that has now just been adopted as part of Lacey's comprehensive plan. The thing to understand about this plan is that it has a 30-year horizon, and it has 72 components to it. Lacey is already doing a number of those. In fact, we were the first city in Thurston County to adopt a carbon reduction plan, and we did this 15 years ago. So Lacey, has been very forward-thinking about this. I will call on my fellow city council members when the time comes to adequately budget for steps that we can afford to tackle this step by step by step, and encourage the communities and around us and the county to do likewise. I think working together, we can actually move the needle.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, the next question is from Mr. Figueroa. Felix Figueroa, what concerns do you have about election security? And please be specific if you have any.
I currently don't have any as far as our state is concerned about election security. I've had the opportunity to talk with our Secretary of State, Kim Wyman, and I feel confident in the process and the people that she worked with.
Thank you. Carolyn Cox, do you have any concerns about election security? And again, please be specific if you do.
Not in Washington State, nor in Thurston County. I think we are very blessed in Thurston County to have an auditor of the caliber of Mary Hall, who has won national awards for her work in voter security. She has brought in national experts. She opens up the Ballot County Center to observers so that we can watch for ourselves and make sure there's nothing that goes on with the ballot count that anybody would have any reason to question. So I'm very, very confident that however the vote comes out this November, that it will be fairly and adequately counted. I do worry nationally about things that are going on to try to restrict voter access. And I do think as a nation, we need to take a hard look at those attempts to restrict voters.
Thank you. All right, the candidates now have an opportunity to ask their opponent a question. So you have 30 seconds to ask a question, and the opponent has 1 minute to answer. So Felix Figueroa, do you have a question for Carolyn Cox?
Yes, thank you for that opportunity. Just a quick question, Carolyn, as far as the home fund is concerned, do you support a councilmatic tax on that, or would you rather support a vote of the people for that tax?
The legislature created that as a councilmanic tax. So if the county were to implement a home fund, that is the path that it would do. And a councilmanic is kind of a strange word. It does mean that it empowers the county commission to pass that tax without a vote of the people, like most of our taxes do require.
All right. And Carolyn Cox, do you have a question for Felix Figueroa?
I do. So Felix, we've met face-to-face a few times, and homelessness is something that you talk about frequently. So if you could please tell us one solution to homelessness that you view as compassionate, that Lacey should take, that it's not already doing, and how would you pay for that?
Great question. Thank you for asking. First and foremost, I think that we need to continue with our mobile outreach team that was recently initiated and making sure that we're helping the people that actually want some help. The first thing we need to do is provide some sort of shelter option for those people that actually want help, and then build some wraparound services around that in order to provide some continuity of care to deal with the mental health and the drug addiction. And we would fund that through expanding our tax base, not increasing our taxes.
All right. Well, now each candidate will have an opportunity to provide a 1-minute closing statement. We're going to go alphabetically. So Carolyn Cox, your closing statement, please.
Thank you. Well, again, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and Thurston County Media for this opportunity to address you. They're pulling this off, I'd say almost like a miracle in the midst of a pandemic here. So thank you very much for that. It's been my privilege to serve Lacey residents for the last 4 years on the City Council. City Council members have to know a little about a lot, I guess is the way to say that. But local government really has more to do with your life than who's sitting in the White House. We pave your streets. We make sure that the water that comes out of your tap is safe to drink. We train and hire the police who show up at your door when trouble arrives. All of those things affect your life in a major way. Experience counts, and I would really appreciate you returning me for another term on the City Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Felix Figueroa, your closing statement, please.
Thank you very much for having me here this afternoon. I appreciate this opportunity, and I ask for your vote. My name is Felix Figueroa. If you're looking for somebody who gets it done, is not afraid to roll up their sleeves, can work with other people, really cares about your concerns, takes them up to the top, then vote for Felix. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you, Carolyn Cox and Felix Figueroa, for participating in our forum. We thank TC Media for producing this program, and we thank our co-sponsors, Asian Pacific Islanders Coalition and Thurston Climate Action Team. I just want to mention that our excellent timer today has been Carol Goss. This forum will be available on TC Media channels, the League of Women Voters website, and as a YouTube video. We're also producing other forums for other City Council candidate positions, for example, for the Port District and for Olympia City Council. These will be also available through the League website. We are glad you have taken the opportunity to view this forum. Please be a voter. We remind you to vote in the general election beginning October 15th and closing on November 2nd, 2021. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for participating in democracy.